Now, in today's video, I'm going to show you all of the things that women do to artificially inflate their value to make men chase and pursue them. So what I'm actually going to be doing on my marker board today is breaking down all of the psychological levers of manipulation and almost trapdoors that women are going to pull and they're going to exercise in order to get you, right, to not only put their beauty up on the pedestal, but these are the things that they are going to be doing so that way you chase and that way you pursue them. What I'm going to be showing you is actually going to be able to reverse this so that way you can start to actually have not only the upper hand in these relationships, but also the leverage when you're interacting with anybody that you're potentially trying to date. Now, once this video is done, what I advise you to do, as always, you go down below, you hit the link in the description, you go and you check out the MBT Masculine Behavioral Technique webinar, because what I did was I put together a full end-to-end presentation for you. Inside of that presentation, what you're going to be able to do is take MBT, masculine behavioral techniques, and copy paste them into your dating life to get results at an even quicker pace and at an even quicker level. So be sure to go and check that out after this video is over today. Okay, here's a disclaimer. This video is very long, but it is very powerful, which means if you are able to actually take these things that I'm going to be teaching you in today's video and apply them to your dating life, you will be able to spot all of these issues that 99% of men go through. So seriously, make some time to actually watch this video end to end. Now, these are all of the ways that a woman will tend to try to artificially inflate her value to make her chase you and to make her pursue you. And what you have to know is all women do these things. So if your own mom entered out into the dating game right now, she would be deploying these strategies. Your sisters, if you have a sister, is going to deploy these strategies, right? The women that you meet on a dating app are going to deploy these strategies. These women that you meet at church are going to deploy these strategies. These women you meet at a bar or nightclub are going to deploy these strategies. Like, the quicker that you stop making excuses for I'm different so I can bend the rules, or she's different so I can bend the rules for her, or she's a good girl so she wouldn't do these things, like, the quicker you can actually get ahead. You have to understand that all of these things are wired into women, and the reason why is because you will not outsmart them. Due to the fact that they are far more emotionally tuned in, right, and able to understand social nuances at a deeper level. You are never going to outsmart a woman at these games. All you can do is recognize the strategies and know how to overcome them, which is what I'm going to show you, okay? So her whole game, a woman's entire game, is to make you pursue her, okay, to not lose the power in the relationship. So what does that mean? AKA, that means play hard to get to weed out weak or needy men who are wanting sex or her companionship. This is what a woman's trying to do. She is trying to purposefully make you emotionally invest and emotionally engage in order to chase and pursue you, because she does not want to lose that power. So what happens is she wants to give as little effort as humanly possible while still keeping you on the hook. Why would a woman do this? Because what she's trying to do is she's trying to actually test the current level of options that you have. See, here's what you're going to notice. Men who are in abundance, like, I want you, when I'm giving this presentation today, I want you to think as if you are a famous celebrity, or you're an emperor of some ancient, kingdom where you have 1,000, like, you're at the top of the hierarchy and you have 1,000, women who want to be your wife, okay? What you're going to notice is guys at that level wouldn't even notice these tests. They wouldn't even give time to invest into them because they would be so occupied with so many different things. So what she's trying to do is she's trying to test or gauge your current level of options. And I'm gonna, if that part seems blurry or confusing, stick with me because this is all going to make sense. And truthfully, this is one of the most important videos I've ever made. Like, you can be as stoic as you want, you can be as masculine as you want, you can be a man's man, you can make money, you can be, have six-pack abs. If you don't spot these psychological nuances, she categorizes you as a low-value guy, and then you don't even get a date. A lot of times, if you do get dates, they fizzle out really quick. So you got to be able to spot these things, man. Okay, so what she's trying to do is she wants to give as little effort as humanly possible while still keeping you on the hook. And the reason is because she's gauging your current level of options that you have. She wants to know how many other women you're potentially seeing. This is an attraction turn on. So you might be wondering, well, why? Why does she do these things? Why would she want to purposefully put me in the weaker position by making me pursue? Why would she purposefully want to make it harder for me to get a date? Why would she do this? There's a few reasons. Deep down, majority of them, they are very, very insecure, okay? And they wear false confidence. These women who you see that have their hair curled, they're smiling, they're full of makeup, like, Some of the big fake boob jobs. You gotta understand, she's smiling, but she's frowning on the inside. A lot of these girls are frowning on the inside because they're comparing themselves to every other girl. This is like a woman's nature. It's like women have a natural competition anxiety weaved into them just through how they're biologically hardwired. So this competition anxiety, she's comparing herself to everybody else. She wonders, am I curvy enough, right? Is my smile good enough? Is my hair the right color? Is my hair the right length? This is what happens. So don't be fooled by the false confidence that they put on. Like I said, women are very psychologically smart. Women are also very, very emotionally tuned in. She's able to put the right perception, images, and personas on, especially to make men naive to what's actually going on behind the scenes or up in her head. You're never going to outsmart them at their own game. All you can do is learn the game that they play. Okay, number 2, they want the validation and self-esteem boost by knowing that men want them. If she has 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 guys pursuing her at once, that makes her feel wanted. Another thing that they're trying to do, or the reason why that they want you in the weak position, is because they want to feel like their beauty is the prize. See, they know, right, that guys who are masculine or guys who have a lot going for themselves, women know that those type of guys are a hot commodity. But women don't want to give you that power. See, women are never going to give you that validation. She's not going to actually give you that approval. What you're going to notice is most women don't try to boost a man's confidence or self-worth. She wants to either match you where you're at, or she's going to purposely find subtle ways to interest test you to tear down your confidence or your self-esteem. This is what women do. And they do this because they want to make themselves feel as if they are the prize. So what you have to understand is the biggest reason why they do this too is because they're protecting their emotions from masculine indifference. This is the biggest reason, and this is why I have a star by this. You have to understand the power that you do have. The power that you do have as a man is you should have the ability or the capability to turn your emotions on or off when it comes to what you decide to care about. So since a woman knows, like, to some degree, that a man is able to think with logic and be rational, and that is him and his masculine, that is a bit fearful to them because they know if they get emotionally attached and invested into that sort of guy, that can be that can be hard for them because masculine indifference is very powerful. So she's trying to protect her emotions too because a woman's worried that she's going to get played as well. So keep that shit in mind. Now, why is the second reason? Okay, there's a follow-up to this. Not only does she want to feel like the prize, put her beauty on a pedestal, right, protect her emotions, but the second reason why women do this is because they want to filter you out. When I say filter you out, they're trying to prove that you are low value. And when I say low value, that's why I wrote up here, they're trying to see or gauge your current level of options, right? If a guy has a quick interaction with a girl back and forth on text message, she doesn't reply for 3-4 days, and he doesn't pursue, right? And she starts to go back through her Rolodex of contacts of potential guys that are interested in her. What's that going to signal if he didn't reach out? It either signals low interest or it signals high abundance. That's going to be a turn on. So then 4 days later, when you get the "Hey stranger" text, or when you get the text that says, "Hey, totally forgot to reply to this, LOL, what are you up to?" Okay, that's how you know that you positioned yourself as potentially the prize in her eyes. This is all false psychological frames of value. To a woman and to girl world, fantasy and imagination is the real world. To a woman and to girl world, the psychological levers of high value far outweighs real life metrics of high value such as status, income, things like that you've been sold. So keep that in mind. She's trying to filter you out. She's trying to prove that you're low value, and she's also trying to disqualify you. Women at all times, okay, are looking for reasons to say no to you. They're looking for reasons to say no to you when it comes to potential intimacy or sex. She's looking at disqualifying you and saying no to you from a relationship. She's looking at disqualifying and saying no to you for a date. Women are looking for reasons to find flaws. Okay? Even the amount of women I've went on dates with who've seen my videos, and they will even say to me on the date, they go, "Oh, I really thought you'd be more rude, or I thought you'd be more of an arrogant asshole, and I didn't think I'd like you, but yeah, I kind of like you." Okay? Women will go into dates looking for the negatives. Women will go into dates looking for things to find wrong with the guy. So what I'm going to be giving you is the upper hand in today's video, okay? The reason why this is so hard for guys to comprehend is because a man's mating strategy is to get as many women as possible. What I mean by that is, like, men oftentimes want unlimited access to potentially having women. Men want access to women, okay? So if you put 5 hot girls in a room and they're all super hot, and you ask a guy, you say, "Which one do you want?" Guys can look at him and say, "I'll take all of them if I can." That's a guy's mating strategy. Now, here's where there's an inverse effect between men and women. A man's mating strategy is to get as many women as possible, right? You want unlimited access potentially if you could get it, right? This is why a celebrity at the top of the totem pole could have access to every single girl out in the arena who's watching them, okay? But a woman, her main strategy is to get as few men as possible, but a guy that's the most highest value fit. That's what I'm telling you, they're designed to filter you out. So once you understand the inverse relationship between a man's mating strategy to a woman's, and you start to see that men optimize for quantity, you start to see that women optimize for quality, now and only now can you understand a woman's extended time horizon and time delay when it comes to attraction and if she emotionally invests in a man and decides to love him. No, I'm not talking about if she decides to sleep with him or not. Okay, we're not talking about any sort of like chemistry or relationship that happened in the bedroom, okay? A lot of guys are far too sex focused and you think that that means something to women in the way that it does to you. It doesn't. Women don't care because they can get that anywhere. What I'm talking about, if she decides to love a man, the reason why there's an extended time delay or time horizon is because it takes time for a woman, right, to feel safe with a man. It takes time for a woman to understand a man's personality. Like, you got to understand this from like a biological hardwiring of a woman. If her primal instincts to search for that safety and that security with a man, the only way she can prove to herself that he's a good bet for her survival is if she spends an extended period of time with him, which means before she decides to fully give herself emotionally to him, she needs to make sure she feels safe. She needs to make sure she's comfortable. She needs to see his personality. She needs to test him, and she needs to see how he handles stress. She needs to test him and his interests to see if he's weak for her. Okay, all of these things take 3 to 6 months. So this is a compounded effect of you passing every single interest indicator test and proving to her hypergamy that you are a good bet for her survival. This is what love means to a woman. This is polar opposite to how it works for a man, because men can switch that on and switch that off. And what that means is if we like a woman, we typically know quickly. Okay, if it's a woman that we see positive traits in, we're going to know if we probably want to date her. Like if this is a girl we would categorize as a long-term fit within a week or two, or even just a few dates, we can kind of decide if this is something we want to actually pursue that's more serious. This screws you every time. If you go down that road with a woman, you will lose, because you have to understand that her perspective and perception of love is different than yours. She needs this time to pursue you and also see that you are a high value fit. She needs this time, right, to gain your approval and your trust. She needs all of this time. If you don't have this, she can never actually fully emotionally give herself to you. So keep that in mind. Now, once you've understood this piece, now you can start to see why women are never in a state of urgency. They're not in a state of urgency because they perceive love differently. They are oftentimes looking at the world through their own lens. And what that means is they do not have the levels of testosterone levels that we do. So what I'm trying to tell you is women don't have the sex drive or the same sex drive that a man does. A man will typically have a higher sex drive. Well, what is this going to do? That causes him to exercise his mating strategy of looking for, potentially abundance of options. This exercises his mating strategy for pursuing women. Okay? This is why I explained to you that there's an inverse relationship between a man's and a woman's, where men oftentimes look for quantity while women look for quality. So here's what happens, okay? Men oftentimes enter into a state of urgency where they over pursue.
And see, this is why men become urgent to set that date. You become urgent to follow up with that text message. You become urgent to follow up with that match that you got on online dating. All of these things are the exact things that start to ruin a guy's dating life. You have to be able to spot these.
Now they end up showing lack of options, and they end up showing lack of abundance. Most women, okay, are patient and they want things to play out, because a woman falls in love very differently than a man. A woman chooses to emotionally invest and emotionally engage into a man very different than how a man engages and emotionally invests into a woman. Okay, women let this shit play out over weeks and over months. I have not even told you the strategies that they use yet. We're going to get to this, but here's what you have to know. They deploy every psychological strategy possible to see who goes weak for them and who emotionally enters into a state of emotional urgency. They want to see which man enters into a state of emotional urgency. Read this one more time. They deploy every psychological strategy possible. The men who are indifferent to every single strategy that she applies to him, the men who are indifferent, okay, and have that masculine indifference to not care or not react, These are the men who signal high value, the men who do not build emotional attachments to women. This is how you pass every single test that I'm about to show you in a second. Now, here's what you got to know. Women move slower when dating. Women have more patience. The reason why they have more patience, like I said, is because they're not in that state of urgency. She does not have the same sex drive that a man does. Men have more, we have testosterone. Okay. Women don't operate like that, where they're constantly, like, their sex drive controls a lot of the moves that they make. That's not how it works for women. Women are patient and they let these things play out. They're trying to filter which men are already getting women and which men aren't. They're trying to filter for the highest value fit. So they let things play out. They want to see if he has patience. They want to see if he doesn't over pursue. They want to see if he can text once or twice, let a week go by sometimes, have it not faze him, and then end up meeting up with her down the road when things click. So you got to understand that to her brain, right, to her primal brain, only a man with potential options would probably be in a state to do that. Only a man who isn't weak or needy would be in a state to do that. And what this really filters for is options. Women want men who other women want, which means if you can deploy the strategies that make it seem like you're selected, that make it seem like you already probably have women in your life, this is going to raise her interest. So I'm glad we got this out of the way, because that whole series I just described to you was the prerequisite. Now we have to know and we have to understand all of the strategies that a woman actually deploys. So if you want to know how women actually artificially inflate their value, this is where we're going to start to talk about this now. There's 2 stages to this. Stage 1 is prior to consistently seeing each other. This is when you're just trying to get up with her on that first date or that first couple dates. This is when you're trying to see her for the first few times. This is stage 1. So here's what you have to know. Relationships with women are won or lost via the cell phone. This is what you have to know. In today's world, if she finds you physically attractive and she's willing to engage with you in sort of texting or calling or FaceTiming or back and forth direct messages, relationships are won and lost through the cell phone. You have to be aware of this. That means callbacks, and when you're going to call back, time delays, okay? Dates and date setting, and the prolonged progression of when you decide to do that, all of that is important. So here's the first strategy that you're going to notice when it comes to social media. When it comes to social media, something that you're going to find very common that women do all the time, the first strategy that they deploy is they still want to feel like they're the ones who are being pursued, even if they have high interest in you. So what you can see often from time to time is, like, a girl will like heart one of your stories, or maybe she'll even like heart or laugh at a lot of your stories. What will happen is she maybe even will, like, you know, like when she, let's say she swipes up on a story and she laughs at it or she hearts it, they can attach a comment to that story. You're going to notice this. They will like DM comment at you, or they will heart a story, or they're going to laugh at a story. And what they're doing is they're trying to give you choosing signals. This right here is a choosing signal. Since we live in a digital world, you're going to notice that these things would be the equivalent to a girl in like a bar or a club who like looks at you from the side and smirks or smiles at you and flips her hair. Okay, this is a choosing signal. She wants to make it subtle. What she's saying is, she's saying, hey, if you lay your cards right, this is an open invitation to approach me right now online. This is what she's trying to signal. So what she's trying to do is she's trying to get you to now initiate conversation, okay? But now what's going to happen, here's the first strategy that they deploy. She had interest in you to like the story or to heart the story or to laugh at the story and to maybe or potentially attach a comment to it. That's another thing that they'll do. They'll put LOL, haha, oh my God, rolling on the floor laughing, blah, blah, okay? All that bullshit. She's going to do that, okay? But now what you're going to notice, let's say you wait 30 minutes to an hour, or whenever you open it, okay? Now what she's going to do, once you tweet back at her, you comment back at her, now she waits 12 to 48 hours to open it. And you're going to sit there and scratch your head and you're going to go, well, what the fuck? Like, I thought that this girl had interest. Why would she comment at me? Why would she talk to me? Why would she engage like this? You're going to notice they might wait 12 to 48 hours to open it. Sometimes they might even wait 3-4 days to open it. That is how extended they will try to use this sequence of time delays. You have to be able to spot time delays, and you have to be patient. The reason why you have to be patient is because at this point, what she's doing is she's filtering to see, will he double text? Will he double reply? How hard is he going to get to pursue me? How often or how hard can I make this guy chase? Okay. Just because she has taken time to open it, here's what you have to know. This does not indicate low interest. This does not indicate low interest. Women play the game too. Women are using manipulation tactics and strategies to get you to invest in them as well.
This is how it goes.
Now, another thing that you are going to notice when it comes to interacting with women, the second thing that you're going to notice is when it comes to text messaging, you're going to be so confused because you know that women are glued to their phone. You know that they're constantly checking social media. Okay, but what you're going to notice, and all women do this, okay, keep that in mind. When it comes to texting, a lot of times they're slow to reply. I'm going to tell you this too. The higher value guy that you are, meaning like if you make money or you have muscles or you're seductive and charismatic or you're looked at as a guy who maybe is potentially like successful or able to get other women, she's going to pepper on these strategies even harder. She's going to make it harder for you to get past all of these tests and all of these interest indicators because there's two reasons. The first thing, she wants to actually make sure that you're about shit. She wants to make sure that it's not a facade of high value, and she wants to actually make sure you are what you say you are. She's going to be testing your congruence. Or she wants to know if all of that success that you have in those areas is trying to make up for fault, like to know if that is actually deep down hiding insecurities. That's number one. Number two, she is slightly nervous that you have a lot of options. So what's going to happen is she wants to artificially inflate her value to get you to pursue her or over pursue her so that way she can have more leverage. You can't fall for any of this, but what you have to know is the higher value you become, the more you get tested, not the less. So when it comes to texts, they're slow to reply or they won't reply for 2-3 days sometimes. And here's what you're going to get. She's going to go, oh my God, work's been so busy. That's what you're going to get. You know, oh my God, work's been so busy. You're sitting there and you're going, man, like you're a manager at XYZ retail store. Like, how can work be that busy? But it's bullshit. You can't fall for it. She's going to say work's been so busy. Or she'll text back 2 to 4 days later and say, oh my God, totally forgot to reply. So sorry, exclamation mark. That's what she'll say. Oh my God, totally forgot. It's like, lady, as if you didn't notice there's a dude in your inbox, there's a dude who's texting you who you have interest in. You can't fall for this, okay? Or another thing is they're doing nothing, okay? They're doing nothing, okay? But they still won't answer the call or they won't answer the phone to not show an interest indicator. But yet, here's what they're going to do. They're going to call you back 3 hours later. They're going to say, oh yeah, I was doing X, Y, and Z. Sorry, I couldn't get back to you, okay? But what does this do? This puts a question mark in the guy's brain. Well, was she actually doing that? What's she up to? Okay, this is what women do. Now, oftentimes they're not doing anything. She's laying down in bed watching TikTok. She's laying down in bed watching the Kardashians on TV. She's laying down in bed eating popcorn and talking to her girlfriends. And she's FaceTiming her girlfriends back and forth while they're laughing together as they're ignoring your text messages on purpose. This is what women do. These are all of the things that you are going to see in the beginning to get up with her on that first 1, 2, or 3, or 4 dates. This is what she's going to do. She's laying the trapdoors of what I call time delays. Women exercise time delays to artificially inflate their value so that way you pursue them and emotionally invest at a quicker pace. So that way she has reasons to disqualify you. So that way she has reasons to tell you no. And so that way she has reasons to assume that you have no options, just like she already probably assumes. In the future, or in the future of this presentation, later on, what you're going to see is how a lot of this bites them in the ass, and I'm going to show you why in a second, but just stick with me. This is stage one. Stage one is prior to consistently seeing each other. Now, let's say you pass all these intricate interest indicator tests, you don't over pursue, she goes on a date or two with you, you're super charming, you're super seductive, you're super in your masculine frame where you're smooth and suave, and you seem like this guy who's charismatic and emotionally engaged in conversation to make her feel a certain type of way, and she feels some sort of like energy towards you where you're like, you're a cool dude, okay? You're chill and you're relaxed. Notice I peppered on a lot of different words there so that way you guys can try to pull different personality traits that you may have and try to exercise them at will, because women fall in love with a lot of different things. Those are the personality stack that you want to have. You got to make her feel something on that date or she ain't going to want to talk to you. If you're boring, if you just engage in logical conversation the whole time, right? If you don't tease her or if you don't test her back a little bit, there's not going to be a lot of sexual tension and she's going to exit. So those are all the things that you got to do. Not only do you got to pass all those tests to get up on 1 or 2 dates with her, but then on the date you gotta lay your cards right too. Okay, now let's say you made it to stage 2. Stage 2 means that you guys are consistently dating, okay, or you guys are consistently seeing each other. Now she has a new main strategy. Stage 1, the main strategy is time delays and seeing if you're going to over pursue to calculate if you have abundance or not. Okay, now when it comes to stage 2, what she's trying to do is she's trying to exercise her main strategy, which is now fear of loss. She's trying to now get you reactive. So once you guys are seeing each other, she may even have an emotional attachment towards you. And here's why a lot of women oftentimes will self-sabotage their own relationships and then regret it later. But I'm going to show you some things she's going to do. The first thing that she might do is she might take a scandalous or a sexy selfie. Okay, and what she's doing is A, she might be needing attention. A, she might be trying to fill some sort of emotional void, right? But what she's really trying to do at a deep level too is optimize hypergamy to see who will talk to her or who will flirt. So what you're going to see is a lot of times she doesn't even want these guys. A lot of times these guys are just orbiters, or these are guys lurking around that are trying to talk to her. Okay, she doesn't even want any of them. She wants to inflate her own value towards you. So she wants to exercise fear of loss in your head, so that way you sit there and you go, man, I wonder who's going to swipe up on that story. Man, I wonder who's going to try to talk to her in direct messages now. I wonder if there's somebody else. This is what is going to go through a guy's head. She knows this is what's going to go through a guy's head. Women want to fuck with you. The sooner you can accept the fact that women want to fuck with you, here's what you got to understand. These girls are not your friend. None of these girls are your friend. I'm going to say that right now. These girls are not your friend. Another thing, these girls are not on your side, or they are not on your team. Number 3, if a girl is with you for the long haul and decides to get on your team and on your side, this girl will get off your fucking team very quickly if you lay your cards incorrectly, build too big of an emotional attachment, show that you're not a good bet for her survival. She will bounce. These women are not your friend. These women are not here to nurture and coddle you. These women are not here to love you. These women are here to serve themselves because they are survival creatures and you are a utility for them to do so. Keep that in mind at all times. These women do not love you. These women are not your friend. These women are not your mom. Okay? I'm going to say that again. These women are not your friend. These women are not here to love you. These women are not your mom. Stop acting like they are able to be. Stop acting and assuming like they one day will become that and give you that unconditional love. They will not do it. You have to understand this. They will not do it. They were not hardwired to do it. They will never try to do it. They don't care. I'm not saying that as a bitter old man. I'm only 27 years old. I'm trying to show you the truth so that way you don't get burned in the long run. That way you don't believe the wrong things about the world. You got to understand, this is not bitterness. This is pure fact. Women will not love you that way. They never have and they never will. Look at every past girlfriend you've had. Look at every failed relationship you have. They do not operate how you're hoping one day you stumble across one will. It's not going to happen. There is no perfect circumstance. There is no perfect girlfriend. There is no perfect any of that. They don't behave that way. So what I'm trying to show you is I'm trying to show you how they actually behave. Okay? So the first thing she's going to do is scandalous selfies. Okay? Scandalous selfies or scandalous pictures potentially, right? And all she really wants to do is inflate her value towards you to exercise fear of loss. Now, the second thing that she may do, she might go out with her girls or go out with her girlfriends to like a bar or a club, or she might go out, or go on a little girls trip for one weekend or something. Here's what's going to happen. You may text her or call her, or you guys are consistently seeing each other now. You're going to notice that, like, let's say she goes out to a bar or to a club. She stops replying to you by 6:30 p.m. You might not hear from her for 16 to 18 hours. Then you're going to sit there and go, oh, is she with another guy? Did she meet a professional basketball player at the club? Is she with someone else in his Lamborghini? Nope, a lot of times she's not. She's sitting there either enjoying the free drinks that she got, or she's just hanging out with her girlfriends. But what she purposely wants to do is to not reply to your call, not reply to your text, and she purposely is going to want to exercise fear of loss. This is all strategy. This is why I told you that what I'm showing you today is how women artificially inflate their value to make men chase them. This is what they do. So she might go out. She's going to not reply to you for 16 to 18 hours. She's going to make you think that she's with another guy. Okay? Then the next day she'll call you and go, oh my God, I had so much fun. And she's going to act like nothing happened. This is what this is doing. Is she's trying to get you reactive. Fear of loss. The last thing that majority of women do, especially with like cell phones, is a lot of women, what they're going to do is they're going to turn their focus or their do not disturb on their phone. And what this is going to do is she wants you to think that notifications are off, so that way your brain wonders who she's with. You're going to see this from tons of girls. What they do if they're talking to a guy, if they're texting a guy, is they'll oftentimes turn that on, and then what will happen is the guy will wonder, well, what's she doing? Okay, all of these things are strategic elements. Notice, stage 1 was time delay. Stage 2, what they're exercising is potential fear of loss. Now, I'm going to say this in the nicest way possible that I possibly can, okay? Stick with me. All of this is done not because she wants another guy. Read this with me one more time. Everything that I just drew out for you here is not done because she wants a different guy. All of this is done to fuck with you. There's times where a woman will wake up, you haven't been tested in a while, she wants to interest test you to see how weak you are for her, and now she's going to wake up one day and she's going to say, I'm going to just fuck with this guy. I want to fuck with him to see where he stands with me. I want to know if I have turned him into an emotional little basket case. I want to just fuck with him to see where he's at with things. This is what a girl will do. Say this with me. Stage 1 is controlling the time delays for when she replies, how long she takes to open certain things, how long she takes to return calls, when she's willing to set a date. Here's what you guys have to know. The reason why I explained to you over here that urgency crushes the desire a woman has towards you is because you have to understand this long time frame. The reason why in all my videos I keep stressing this 3 to 6 month lag period for a woman to build feelings for a guy, this is irrelevant or independent from if she slept with him or not. I'm not talking about arousal or physical attraction to make her want to have sex. That's irrelevant. I'm talking, is her heart in it where she loves this man? This takes 3 to 6 months to feel safe with him, to feel secure with him, to know where he's going in life. This is why I'm telling you, if you can calm down, you got to understand, even with me, I'm super good at this stuff. Like I do this every single day with you guys. Guys, it will take me sometimes 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks to catch up with a girl to get her on that date. Because you're not going to be a priority right away. She's got her girlfriends, she's got her family, she might be talking to other dudes and she's exercising different options. It takes me sometimes 3-4 weeks to catch up with a girl. There's a girl I saw 2.5, 3 weeks ago. We've been texting back and forth a little bit off and on, but I have not seen her now in 2.5 weeks. That is normal, okay? The next time that I will see her, probably within the next 7 days, then we'll catch up again. It takes her time to build those feelings. It takes her time to build that sexual tension. It takes her time to build that mystery, to wonder what you're doing and what you're about. It takes her time to build that intrigue that she has towards you. If I was blowing up her phone every day saying, hey, what's up? Let's go grab drinks. Let's grab drinks. Let's grab drinks. Let's grab drinks. You know what would happen? I wouldn't hear from her. So you got to extend that shit. You have to extend all of this because their love grows in time apart, not time spent. A lot of you don't have to be so urgent, and you have to stop worrying about all of the other men out there due to the fact that women don't have the same level of sex drive that you have. Are all women poachable and you can take them away from a different guy? Yes, absolutely, especially if he's doing things wrong. But you have to understand that her sex drive is not the same as yours. She's not thinking about that 24/7 like a lot of guys are, wondering about the next time that they can go out to the bar or to the club and try to get laid. Women don't operate like that. Women can go for a walk in the park, look at all the leaves, and not think about dudes. Women can go to the gym, turn on their music, check Snapchat once or twice, and not think about dudes. Like, that's how women behave and that's how women operate. So these are the two strategies that they deploy. The first thing that they're going to deploy is they're going to deploy time delays, right? To make you feel like you're not a priority and to see if you over pursue, to test your options. The second thing that women are going to do, they're going to try to get you emotionally reactive, okay? By exercising fear of loss. Now, you might be wondering, well, Casey, thank you for telling me all of this golden information, but my ass is sitting here wondering, how the fuck do I counter these strategies? I'm going to show you how to counter all of them right now. Before I can counter them, I have to give you a prerequisite to this. 99% of these strategies bite women in the ass. These strategies screw a woman over. I'm going to explain to you why they screw a woman over, and I'm going to explain to you something that logically a lot of women today just don't comprehend. We as humans, I don't care if she's an 8, 9, or 10, we as humans, I don't care if you're Drake or Leonardo DiCaprio or Brad Pitt, we as humans, every single person on planet Earth has a limited number of heartbeats. Women oftentimes do not look at the future. Women oftentimes are led by their emotion and they only think of themselves right now in the current body, in the current state of mind that they have right now as they're existing. Why do these strategies bite them in the ass? Because even if she's a 10 out of 10 Victoria's Secret model, she doesn't understand that everybody gets older. So in the time when you took 2 to 4 days to reply to that guy, you only have a limited number of heartbeats. You only have, these women only have so many 2 to 4 day lag periods, 2 to 4 day, I'm not going to reply to him periods, that it takes to compound before a week turns into a month, and a month turns into 2 months, and 2 months turns into 6, and then a year, and pretty soon she's 31 years old. Look at that. Look at that for a second. Women can't comprehend time oftentimes. So what I'm trying to tell you is this. they've been taught to never settle. They've been taught to never consolidate on a man. They've been taught to hold out. This is not their fault. Just like men have men drink the wrong Kool-Aid, women have been sold lies too. Think about that for a second. Women have been sold false lies too, just like you have been sold false lies. Girls live in the moment based on their emotions. So she's not thinking about the future. Now, here's what happens. They don't really have a sense of time because they're operating on feelings. So they hold out year after year after year and they never consolidate on a guy. No one's good enough. They keep telling themselves, I can do better. I can find better. I'll find better. One day I'll find better. Okay? Here's what happens. They hold out, they never consolidate. Now they're single and they're childless and they're not married by 30, 31 years old. Even 28, 29, a lot of times they look back at the old pictures of themselves when they were 21, 22 and they go, damn, my face was like, I was a little cuter. God damn, it's getting harder and harder for me. They will start to notice this even in their late 20s. So now here's what happens once they've gotten a little older. They start to regret all the men that they passed up on. All of the men that they passed up on. So women have been fed wrong information year after year after year after year, just like men. They don't know any better. Just like a lot of guys, if you over pursue a girl and you're super emotional with her and she leaves you and he scratches his head and goes, why? I thought I did everything right. Because when I watched the Hallmark show on HBO with my mom, there's all these elements of love, and I thought I was a super caring guy who watches the Hallmark channel, and then he gets his ass handed to him. He drank the wrong Kool-Aid. Women sometimes drink the wrong Kool-Aid too, and that means she was fed the wrong info too, and she doesn't do her due diligence to figure out what's right versus what's wrong. Then she wakes up and she's 31 and she's thinking, I probably laid my cards incorrectly. So 99% of these strategies don't really worry too much because a lot of times they bite women in the ass anyways. And if you improve your value year after year, you're going to be better, which means you're going to have more options and more access. But nevertheless, I'm going to provide you with hardcore strategies to actually counter this and comprehend this, okay? If any of you have read the book, The 48 Laws of Power, I highly suggest it. Okay, the author is Robert Greene, and right now he's completely all over social media and everyone's talking about him. This is a very good book. Okay, this shows you certain laws and elements of how humans behave, okay, elements of human nature. And Law 44 in the book is the mirror effect. This right here is going to be your best example or your best ability to counter women's strategies when they use psychological levers of manipulation to artificially inflate their own value. Now, with the mirror effect, their strategies, okay, what happens is if you basically hold up a mirror and you replicate them, it exposes what they're doing. A lot of these women can't handle it. If you use the same thing against women that they use towards you, they literally can't handle it. It like bends their mind in half. They can't take it. So what that means is they can't stand being ignored. If you don't talk to a girl for 2 to 4 days, women can't stand being ignored. They can't stand having a guy forget to text back about them. Because if you say, oh man, sorry, so busy, I forgot to text you back. What does that signal? That signals, hey, he's probably with other girls. I ain't the hottest thing since sliced bread that he's got right now. He's got other shit going on. Damn, maybe he isn't as super interested in me if he actually forgot. Now, does anybody actually forget about someone that they talk to? Probably not. Not unless you have 10, 12, 15 options you got working with. If you're interested in a person or she's interested in you, you're going to probably remember that. But they can't tell. So women can't stand being ignored. So things like time delay, if you have patience where you're not eager to set dates number 2 and 3. Patience, time delay. Sometimes, guys, like I said, it takes me 2 to 3 weeks to catch up with a girl. This is normal. You are not going to be a priority right away with all of them, okay? What you're doing is you're mirroring what they do, and this exposes their emotional volatility. Like I told you, a woman's biggest fear, notice all of these presentations, they connect. Every single time I lay a column, you're gonna notice I always come back to the original because this is what I told you. I put a big star by this. They're protecting their emotions from masculine indifference. If any of you even think that you're going to be able to watch my channel and you're going to be able to spot this and know this, you got to understand, I have went through, it has taken me 10 years to master this, where I now have the game like completely down. Like it has taken me 10 years and dating in volume to understand how women operate, to understand how women behave. It has taken me 10 years. You are going to have to go through your own trials and tribulations and issues to get through these things. You're going to have to learn. You're going to have to learn how to take your wins with your losses. You're going to have to learn what works with women versus what doesn't. You're going to have to learn, okay? This time delay, this patience,
Okay, when you can show that you understand how a woman perceives love, the extended time horizon, you have the ability to expose their emotional volatility. This is why I told you masculine indifference. You have the ability to remain logical. You have the ability to stay strong and stoic, to not get emotional. You are blessed with that. Okay, use it, exercise it. Show you have the time delay where you're able to sit there patient and you wait for the next date when that comes. Maybe you can text 1 or 2 times or 3 times back and forth and you're not eager to get her on the phone to see if she wants to go grab margaritas next. This is normal behavior. This is good. If you can do this, you're showing that you have status. You're showing you have options. You're mirroring what they do. When you mirror what they do, it exposes their emotional volatility. Another thing that you do to counter this strategy is, like, you got to understand your success is going to take longer. She can post one story in a swimsuit and she's gonna have 20 different guys swipe up and say, oh, let me take you out to dinner. You're not gonna ever have that ability, just so you know. Like, your success is gonna take longer. So you're gonna have to always improve your value. Like, if you're always consistently, year after year, you're in the gym, if year after year, you're making more money, if year after year, you're improving your charisma, year after year, you're building a social life of abundance, improving your value, being more known in your career, being like these things. And not only that, you're actually understanding the elements of female nature to have proper frame. You're able to exercise certain things that show that you have leverage over your own emotions as a man. This is ways that you get ahead. You're improving your sexual market value. Now, how do you do this to make sure that you never start to really ruin your chances with women? Another thing that you have to do, I really advise every single guy, you have to exercise options. You want to be a guy who's dating in abundance. When you date in abundance, if you're dealing with a girl that you view as a 9, another one that you view as an 8, another one that you maybe view as a 10, okay, and you have a couple of other women that you're trying to talk to too, or that are talking and engaging with you, if you try to set a date with Lisa, okay, and she takes 2 days to reply, since she's not your only lead, if you will, since she's not the only one you're talking to, you're not in that state of desperation because you're operating out of abundance. When you exercise abundance of options, what you're doing is not only are you abiding by your own natural male strategy when it comes to dating and when it comes to a man's sexual strategy of actually exercising options, but you're showing that you're not impulsive. You're showing you don't have that, like, you're showing that you don't have that urgency. You're showing that you're a guy who you can live life on your own terms without your sex drive controlling you. Okay, most guys are so urgent, they're so desperate, they're trying to do all these things, they end up losing. So this is what you have to do. You have to exercise options in abundance. If you layer on these 3 things, okay, I advise reading the book. Law 44 is like mirroring your opponent, or the mirror effect, okay? If you compound that with consistently improving your sexual market value, with understanding that it is your job to exercise options and deploy your dating strategy with abundance, so that way you do not fixate on a specific girl and you overchase, you overvalidate, you overpursue. That is how you counter their strategies. But just know, women will always be 1 to 2 steps ahead of the game. Women are more emotionally in tune than men. The only thing that you have going for you is your ability to have that masculine indifference, to have the leverage in these certain circumstances. This is the entire video end to end. This is how women artificially inflate, okay, their value to make men chase and pursue them. If you like this video, I want you to hit the like button, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.